Hey everybody, Black Ninja 797 here, and welcome back to another episode of Myth Busting Mondays. I hope you guys are having a good Monday, and if not, I hope that this episode makes your Monday. But yeah, guys, we're going to be covering some really interesting myths here today. We got some really cool ones that you guys submitted in the comment section from last time. But I just want to let you guys also know, by the way, as I'm recording this video right now, like the voice you're actively hearing right now is me in the editing software making the commentary for this. I just want to let you guys know that this episode is pre-done ahead of time because of the fact that I am taking a vacation to New York. I will be gone from July the 27th to August the 4th. So some of the myths potentially that you guys have submitted may not be covered until a future episode. So if your myth is not in here, I do apologize for that. But however, though, some should be, and some will definitely be in the future. So I want to let you guys know that in advance. But yeah, guys, one of the myths that we're going to be covering here today at the very end is whether or not if you guys can get the achievement Good Guy Nick in 2021. So let's begin with the episode, guys. Myth. Is the fallen survivor the dead center gun store owner? Alrighty guys, so one of the myths that I was originally actually going to cover in last week's episode was whether or not that if you could be able to reveal the true identity of Whittaker, which is the guy that owns the gun store in Dead Center. And I did some research, and apparently it's a commonly known fact for PC players that you can just no-clip and you can actually see him. It's very quite similar to the same methodology of how people went about trying to see if that works on Virgil and also, you know, other NPCs throughout the game. But Whittaker is one of the few that you actually can see, and so amongst the PC community, this is just kind of common knowledge, so I decided to skip out on this myth. But one of the things that I decided to look into that might not be necessarily so common knowledge, possibly at least, who knows, maybe I'm just wrong about this, is whether or not that if Whittaker is the fallen survivor, because over the last several years, we've seen the fallen survivor on some select handful of maps, but however, though, in the recent last couple of updates, ever since the last stand, fallen survivors have been everywhere. Except, funnily enough, I've noticed on Dead Center. Dead Center, I have not found a fallen survivor, and that's just from my personal experience. Maybe I just have that really weird RNG luck, but I don't see them on Dead Center. Could that be a coincidence? I don't know. We'll have to debate that. So let's talk about the idea of whether or not that Whittaker is the fallen survivor. So you'll see that I'm no-clipping right here into the gun shop. And you can see there's a model for Whittaker. He is a guy that has a little fishing hat, he's got a grenade launcher, and he's got a bandolier around his chest. And he is definitely an NPC that's in the game. You can actually see him come out of that door normally if you stand outside, but you can no-clip also in there and you can see his full entire body. So now what I want to do is I personally am going to load up onto the passing, which is where common survivors are most typically found in my experience, and it's a direct follow-up after Dead Center. So we're going to be loading in here. I got a golf club. I'm looking for any fallen survivor I can see. I'm getting a prompt right about now. I'm trying to look for him, and there he is. So there's a fallen survivor, and you guys can see that he's got basically the exact same type of clothing. He's got the bandolier around his chest. He's got the fishing hat, and he's kind of around the same make and model. So, honestly, guys, personally for me, I'm going to leave this myth at confirmed, that the fallen survivor is the Dead Center gun shop owner, or in this case, Whittaker. If you guys don't believe me, you guys can be able to have your own opinions as you please, but I'm going to leave this myth as confirmed. And here is some additional pics, by the way, at the fallen survivor up close, so that way you guys can see and compare. Myth. Can you reveal the identity of Church Guy and Death Toll? So just like with Virgil and just like with Whittaker, I want to be able to see every single NPC's identity if I can. And one of the NPCs that has always intrigued me is Church Guy. The Death Toll Church Guy is so interesting of a character because you never get to be able to end up knowing about him other than through his dialogue, which is really interesting as it is already. But I want to be able to know about the man behind the door. I want to know what's the agenda of Church Guy. And so what I decided to do is that I decided to go into the church with no clip, and I kept waiting, and I waited, and I waited, and I waited, and even during his dialogue, at the very beginning when you activate the Horde Summoning event, hell, even before the Horde Summoning event, he is just not there. There's no body, no NPC, no nothing on the top or the bottom floor. So I'm literally just sitting here, and I'm just chilling. I'm trying to let the event play out and seeing if he'll spawn. And when I go out, you know, there's a jockey, and I was thinking to myself, maybe if I had the director disabled, he just won't spawn, because technically at some point he is supposed to be a zombie, so that's why the jockey spawned, because I turned it back on, and then I did things to just, like, kick the jockey or whatever. And then as soon as I opened the door, he did become a smoker and show up, but there wasn't like a model beforehand, like the helicopter guy, or even Whittaker, or just any generic survivor in general. Like, there only is a zombie special infected as soon as you open the door. Before that, all you just get is basically a talking door. You get nothing. So unfortunately, for the identity of our man here, Church Guy, this myth is going to be busted. It's too bad, because I would love to see a model for him to be able to put a face behind it. Myth. Can the Crash Course artillery gun kill players? Alrighty guys, so I've loaded up into Crash Course here on the first chapter, and we're going to one of my favorite scenario events, which is going to end up being the artillery gun. Now, the artillery gun is a badass scenario event, because you're literally shooting basically the equivalent of a goddamn bazooka at the bridge to try to clear a path. And this is extremely cool. And I want to know, how strong is this artillery gun? You know, it's enough to clear a bridge, but is it enough to be able to kill the players? And the reason why I asked that is because, even though it sounds kind of self-explanatory, is because some things in this game that you would expect to normally kill an actual player do not. So I'm going to be putting that to the test just to be 100% sure. I mean, that is about, myth busting after all, is to see, just, to be 100% sure. So I'm playing here with my brother. I am having him move over to the bridge so that way the bots don't follow me. And I just told him to stand still. And here we go, fire in the hole, and... Yep, it insta-killed not only my brother, but it also insta-killed both Lewis and Bill. So all the bots and my brother went down, and it was enough to not only insta-kill them, basically, but enough to be able to prove this myth as confirmed. Myth. Can you beat any of the Carnival games with Noam Chomsky? So guys, one of my favorite things about Dark Carnival is being able to play all the Carnival games, and especially the one where you end up being able to play Target Practice to get Noam Chomsky. I think it's a really cool premise, and I like the Easter egg / the achievement behind it. And so I got an attachment to Noam Chomsky, so I want to see if I can use my little buddy here to beat any of the other Carnival games, such as the Strongman competition. For those of you guys that don't know, you can actually interact with a lot of the Carnival games in Left 4 Dead and be able to play with them. So, for example, if you go up to the Strongman machine here, you can actually be able to melee it with a melee weapon, and then you can win it this way. You don't get anything for it, but just something you can interact with. So, as you can see, I'm hitting with my katana, and it is saying that I'm winning. But, can we do that with Noam Chomsky? Because you can't do it while you're shooting. That definitely is a thing that you can't do. I was like, where is Noam Chomsky fall? He's kind of like a melee weapon. So I'm going to try to chuck him at it. I'm not getting any registration. Now I'm trying to hit it. I'm even standing on it. And I'm not getting any audio cue. I have to look down, by the way, so that's why you can't, unfortunately, see if it's going up or not. But there's just no audio cue or anything. So, yeah, in my opinion, I'm just going to say that this doesn't work. So then we're going to be moving over to the Stash Whacker, which is basically whack-a-mole. And I'm trying to punch him, and I'm just trying to get him with any sort of combat move I can think of. Because Noam Chomsky does kill things. If you melee a zombie, it will kill it. So it is considered technically like a... in between like a melee weapon and like a special thing, like a gas can. But he doesn't do anything to these Carnival games, unfortunately. There's no like extended melee other than just basically the shove. So that's probably why it doesn't do anything. It's just because it's stuck as a shove animation rather than a normal melee animation. So I want to try just in case, but sadly it doesn't work, so that means that this myth is busted. Alrighty guys, so here we are. We are now on the final myth, the ultimate myth, the myth to conclude the episode. And the myth is, once again, if you can end up getting the achievement Good Guy Nick in 2021. So guys, let's read the description of the achievement and see what you gotta do to unlock it. The achievement reads as so: plays games with free weekend players and helps them survive a campaign. Alrighty guys, so those are the guidelines and the rules for how you get the achievement Good Guy Nick. So now let's end up hopping into the myth and seeing if you can get it. Myth. Can you get the achievement Good Guy Nick in 2021? So guys, let's talk about Good Guy Nick. So you guys saw the description, and now you know the rules about how you end up getting said achievement. Now, keep in mind with this achievement is that for me personally, I do not have it. Now, however though, just because I don't have it doesn't mean that the method or the idea about trying to get it in 2021 doesn't exist. It just means that I personally don't have it, but others may still be getting it. So this is what I found out from my research about a couple of articles and skimming around the internet, and you guys can just listen and hear what I have to say. So this is basically what I've learned about Good Guy Nick. The idea is that when it comes to Good Guy Nick, as you know, you need to help a free-to-play player get through a campaign on Left 4 Dead. Now, I've done my research when it comes to this, and what I found out is that Left 4 Dead at one point in time was free to keep. It wasn't like the free-to-play weekends that they occasionally have once every couple of few months or years. You could literally just back in the day get the game for free and keep it. So that's when this achievement was kind of like starting to become like popular, is back when it initially launched. But occasionally you can still end up playing the game during a free-to-play weekend and the achievement still does count. It's just that the thing is, though, is that you have to abide by a time slot, because after that weekend, people lose the game, and then therefore the free-to-play players go away, because the only people left now in your games is people that bought it because it's only available for a temporary amount of time. Make sense so far? Okay. So the only way, theoretically, then, to get this achievement is to be able to play with someone that has a free-to-play version of the game, which seems to be the case. As far as I'm aware, in the year that this achievement was dropped, anybody that got Left 4 Dead for free, that account, or that however many accounts claimed it, gets to keep the game forever. It just stays that way. They're not abided by these free-to-play weekend slots where the game eventually is locked until another free-to-play weekend. But when it comes to this achievement, I see that there's sometimes people that help out the community trying to get themselves, because it's one of those niche achievements that people don't necessarily have. And it looks like that what you have to do is you must get somebody that had the game on that account that they're playing on during a free-to-play claimant. Not a weekend, but specifically where you got to keep it, which was a very niche window. You have to play with somebody that has that game under that account, and you have to help them get that account through a full entire campaign. So you need to know a guy that knows this guy's cousin, as SpongeBob would say, in order to be able to get the achievement. Now, once again, I do not have Good Guy Nick myself. It's one of the only 2 achievements left across the board from my 360 account and my PC account that I do not have. The only other one I'm missing is Ghost of Christmas Present. And when it comes to Ghost of Christmas Present and also Good Guy Nick, they're only limited theoretically to a certain time slot. If you don't have that time slot, you can't really get the achievement. But since I don't have the achievement, I don't want to just automatically say that this myth is busted. But I also don't want to say it's 100% confirmed either because of lack of proof. So for today's final myth, I'm going to leave this as plausible. I am still actively trying to get this achievement. I believe there's some way eventually, whether it be just by using a free-to-play player's account or just waiting for a free-to-play weekend to re-show up again. Unfortunately, I missed the spot where they had it free again during The Last Stand, because when The Last Stand first came out, they had that, and I didn't know this achievement was a PC-exclusive thing, because I only was just playing Left 4 Dead on PC just recently for like a couple months before The Last Stand dropped. So, sadly, I did not get the achievement, but one day I hope that they have a weekend where I can get this. If not, I will just have to try to find some other method in the future. But yeah, guys, that is going to be today's episode of Myth Busting Mondays. I truly hope you guys ended up enjoying it. If you did, please consider dropping a like, comment, subscribe, and all that beautiful stuff. Let me know in the comments down below if there's any myths that you would like me to try in the next episode. And keep in mind, if I, don't have the ability to end up getting your guys' myth right away because of the fact that I'm coming back from a vacation and that this video is already pre-recorded, that I do apologize for that once again. But once I start settling in and stuff like that again, everything should proceed as normal. So, if anything, it might just be off by a week. But anyways, guys, that is going to be it here for today's video. I once again truly hope you ended up enjoying. And once again, if you enjoyed, please drop a like, comment, and subscribe, and all that beautiful stuff. If you guys would like to check out any of my other social medias, they are always linked down below in my video's descriptions. And if you guys want to financially support the channel, I would definitely appreciate if you guys could either go check out my Patreon or use support creator code BlackNinja797 all caps in the Fortnite and Epic Games item shops. That is very much appreciated because Epic is my very first sponsor, and this video is sponsored by Epic Games. But anyways, guys, I hope you end up enjoying another YouTube video for the most unique YouTuber you guys are ever going to see. Thank you for watching, guys, and peace out.